Welcome to another Cloud Native Short Take from RxM. My name is Chris Hansen. Today's video, we're going to talk about the Kubernetes module deployments. In this module, we talk about the workings of a number of Kubernetes controllers, of course with a specific emphasis on the deployment controller. In this video, though, we're going to be looking at the feature of the deployment controller, which is facilitating zero downtime application rollouts. So I've got a couple of terminals going here where I've pre-set up some commands just to save us some time. First, let's take a look at the deployment. Fairly standard. We've got 10 replicas that we're going to roll out, so we can see lots of change happen as we do our rollouts. We've got the standard percentages or the default percentages for the rolling update. We'll change these in the demo. And we've got this image host info, which essentially spits out its host name so we can see the RS hashes change over time. Down here I've got a watch for deployments in the namespace where I'm doing this work, and of course that's going to be empty. Oh, there is the pod client. Sorry, because I've got the client pod running over here already, and that's of course queued up with the service name so that we can query it and see that going. So let's apply this, and we'll see that we will roll out in parallel all 10 at the same time, right? So there is no sort of rolling deployment. If you want to do a rolling deployment, you start with a small number of replicas and then just scale up. We'll also expose our deployment. So we're just going to have it listen on port 80. The actual container listens on port 9898, so we're doing that port mapping. We expose that to give our service, and that's what we're going to be using over here with the client. And so I'll start that up, and you see the RS hash 585 here, and so we can pay attention to that over time as we do our changes. So I'll do a set, and in this case I'm going to set it to the Alpine revision, and we'll see a 25% surge. What that means is you're going to have 25% more pods above 10, below 10, kind of in two waves. So what will end up happening is we'll tear down 2, but we're going to roll out upwards of 5. And so also pay attention to the numbers here, along with paying attention to see with the pods how many are running, what's rolling out, etc. Let's go ahead and do that. And so we've got, immediately you saw there were 5 up to date. And we don't really have much of a delay happening here. So it rolls out very quickly. We can control that by changing things like max surge and max unavailable to speed things up or slow things down, as well as another setting called minimum ready seconds. We're just using the default of 10. Okay, so we've got our first rolling update. We can, of course, undo that, where I want to do a rollout undo for my deployment, and it's the cnst demo deployment, and so that'll roll it back with the same percentages, right? We roll back with the 25% max surge and unavailable. Now, if we want to change those behaviors, I can patch my deployment so that I can show you two extremes, a high max surge and a low unavailable, and vice versa. So here we have the patching where we have the low max unavailable, which means we'll only tear down 1 pod, but we're going to create 9 more pods. And so we'll do that, and of course nothing's going to happen because we're just patching the deployment controller. So we'll do another set, and we're back at the latest revision, so I can use the Alpine revision again. And you can see a lot more pods get created in this case because that max surge is so high, but we only tore down one the first time. But since we're going to have a lot of running pods, we're going to be able to tear down a lot. And you can see that happening very quickly there, where we're terminating a number of pods. Sometimes the danger with rolling these things out quickly without things like readiness probes and a proper surge is clients may be sent to a pod that is either not viable yet or was torn down. So make sure that you use probes. We're not doing that here. You can see in here we don't have any probes to slow things down. So we'll do another patch. In this case, we'll do the opposite, where we're going to only be able to surge 10%, but we're going to tear down a lot. And we'll see the behavior there. I'll do another set, but in this case, I have to use the the latest image because we're on Alpine revision. Now you're going to see a lot of stuff get torn down, and there's a lot more danger here of the client on the right-hand side going into a black hole. And there we go. Right away, we get a wget timeout because we had a lot of pods being terminated at the same time. And that's just one of the things that you'll learn in this section on deployments. We also cover things like health checks and liveness probes, which you should be using with a proper rolling update. And you can build a custom course by going to rxm.com, go to the courseware builder, open up the Kubernetes section, and find the module on deployments, and add it to your custom course along with a number of other modules to build a course that works for you and your team. That is our Cloud Native short take on Kubernetes deployments.